Welcome to the Alldus podcast, Women in ServiceNow series, a brand new series dedicated to showcasing the incredible women leading the way in the ServiceNow ecosystem. With your host, Ailsa Cassie, each episode will bring you inspiring conversations with trailblazing women who are driving innovation, breaking barriers, and shaping the future of ServiceNow. Whether you're an aspiring leader, a seasoned professional, or just curious about the impact of female leadership in the tech space, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration and empowerment. Join us on this exciting new journey as we dive into the stories, challenges, and triumphs of the remarkable women making their mark within the ServiceNow ecosystem.
So you're listening to the Alldus podcast, Women in ServiceNow series. Today I'm joined by Tanja, who is the Solution Area Manager for CSM at Netgain. Tanja is not just a force to be reckoned with personally, but also professionally as well. So I'm very, very excited to be joined by you today.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
So I'd love to just hear a bit more about your background and how you arrived to where you are today.
I went to university in 1999. Back then, it wasn't really a female-oriented field to study technology, so it didn't really cross my mind. Instead, I studied languages and business sciences with an aim to work in international business. Fast forward to now, I am working in a technology role. I'm actually working in a company with about 40% women. After university, I got a traineeship at a Finnish IT company. They wanted to open up greenfield offices across Europe in Spain, France, and Italy, and so on. It had a lot of advantages. I got to travel internationally, which I thought was really cool. I got to use all my language skills. It also had some challenges. I was a young 25-year-old blonde woman negotiating with 60-year-old Italian businessmen, and let's say it took a while for them to accept that they should really be talking to me and not to someone else. Either way, this was the start that got me into working in international IT companies. After some years, I was offered a product manager role for working for international IT implementations in the same company. And that was kind of another culture shock. Instead of culture barriers and generation barriers and so on, I had to start talking to developers and convince them that I was in the right place, even though I didn't understand a single line of code. But all in all, I worked a lot in different middle management roles, ranging from IT consulting and international implementation projects to leading functions in IT operations.
Yeah, it sounds like you've always enjoyed being in an environment that is challenging, dealing with a male-dominated role to start with, and then moving on to quite a technology-focused role without a background in IT. And then you discovered the ServiceNow platform. So tell us about that.
Well, I mean, process development has always been present in the work, in what I worked with. So how you can use IT to work more efficiently and so on. And also how it's also been a part of how I've tried to structure my own work. And in 2016, I was working in an IT company which implemented ServiceNow as a part of their stride to improve their process efficiency. And once ServiceNow was implemented in the company, platform ownership became part of the mandate for the business unit I led at the time.
Great. And what was it that you really enjoyed about the product when you first discovered it?
Well, working smarter instead of just trying to work faster to get more things done, which makes it easier to actually maintain the quality of what you do. Also, find the platform intuitive. You don't really need to be one of those code nerds I worked with back in the days to actually understand what you can do, what you can achieve with the platform. Then there's always something more to grasp, since the platform covers so many areas. There's actually so many parts of a legacy tech stack that you could potentially replace by ServiceNow if needed.
And you were working in quite an operational role at that time, and then decided to pursue a role directly focused in kind of ServiceNow. What was it that made you inspired to make that change?
part of it was that I felt in the different middle management roles I had that I had kind of drifted away from close customer dialogues and from working on problem solving and so on. And my days circled more around reporting and internal meetings and kind of the eternal loop of doing the same things over and over again. I really like working when you get to build something and you get concrete results and you kind of get the clear signal that you have achieved something and moving forward. So in the end, I realized that I wanted to pursue a combined role where I could both work strategically, because I'm still going to be the person who has a lot of opinions about how business should be run and so on, but also being a part of customer facing projects. So that led me to joining Netgain 3 years ago by now.
Yeah, it's interesting because it does happen quite often that before you know it, sometimes you can end up in an operational role when that wasn't what you'd really planned for yourself. But taking that time to really look back and think, like, I'm missing that solution side of the work that I'm doing. I'm missing working with customers and providing or taking a problem and finding a solution for it, and then really seeing that end result. And it's so rewarding seeing something like that from start to finish.
Yeah,
in so many different settings, because not every project's the same, or they're actually all very different. It'd be great to just maybe hear some more about the work that you are now doing at Netgain. Who are Netgain? What is it that you're achieving for your customers?
Netgain in Sweden, it's the biggest partner for ServiceNow consulting. We're a premier partner in consulting and implementation, and been ranked a great place to work several years in a row right now. So we're really happy about the culture that we have. We have 3 different focus areas, business areas: CSM, HR, and IT. And operate as a service provider in addition to the consulting and implementation capacity. And my specific role in this is leading the solution area for CSM, customer service management, which should maybe be called CRM right now due to ServiceNow's rebranding, but that's another podcast. And what I do is, well, it's to see how we could approach the market. What value can CSM actually bring to both private and public customers? How can we do best-in-class implementations of CSM? And once implemented, how can we help our customers to continuously maximize the value of the platform?
And you've said yourself that you didn't come from a technology background, but you're obviously doing a very ServiceNow focus and a technology focused role for your customers. How did you decide what trainings were worth investing in, and how to really get to the point where you're able to be an expert in that area?
I mean, I started looking at areas where I had worked before and where that way was the easiest for me to actually put myself in the customer's shoes. Since I had worked with IT operations, I had, for instance, been part of change administration boards and so on. So trying to understand how ServiceNow ITSM works was easier for me that way. When it comes to CSM, as a product owner, CSM was part of the application suite that we used. I had worked a lot with customer service management. I had set up CRM systems, built up a customer success program, and so on. So been into quite a lot of the different areas, and that way learning ServiceNow CSM was close at hand. Also, back in the days when I did the implementation projects of where multiple systems were in scope, HRM was often one of them. So that way it was logic to learn ServiceNow HRSD and how that works. And then the last years, I've started to identify like skill gaps based on the projects I've been involved in. Since I didn't study technology, I've invested quite a lot recently in learning programming, learning database structures, application development, and so on. Our CEO at some point stated I'm kind of addicted to learning, which might be true. But the more I see the more I see how it's all connected in the platform, the easier for me I think it's to actually communicate well with the stakeholders, with customers, and with team collaborators and so on. And it's kind of nice to feel that you get you at least think that you get smarter and smarter every day when something falls into place.
Yeah, and it definitely comes back to that kind of work satisfaction piece. And when you are, so knowledgeable about one particular area, being able to kind of really see it from a bird's eye view for your customers and deliver in the best possible way for them, because you understand from start to finish how it works and how that process needs to look. So yeah, it's the certifications in itself as well, they can be quite daunting because there's just so much to choose from. So it's nice that you're able to find a cohesive way to kind of enter the certification route and focus on things that you had transferable skills with already. And of course, now you're a leader and an expert in the field. So it's paid off well, underpinned by all that kind of challenging work that you've done to get to where you are. And what would you say you're kind of most passionate about in your role as a ServiceNow leader?
Well, thinking about our customers' employees, so the ones who actually work in the system, for instance, the service desk, how can we use IT to actually make it fun for them to work and to feel that they get the feeling that they're in control of things and so on. So it's back to the problem solving. Reporting lines, I mean, in the end, if you don't get data from the platform that is actually valid and based on what you can make good decisions, that's kind of a deal breaker. Then the most rewarding is still to see that the things that we have built, the customer solutions, that they actually work and are bringing our customers' operations forwards. Also staying in forefront of recent developments. So, for instance, how to use AI to help to improve customer processes and so on. It kind of adds a new piece of learning stuff that I can include in my skill set.
I mentioned at the start that you're a force to be reckoned with, not just kind of personally, but professionally as well. What is it that really kind of keeps you motivated? You're a continual learner. You're very active in your life as well. So how is it that you kind of keep yourself motivated to deliver in the way that you are?
Balancing an intense work life with an intense private life, good work-life balance. I'm really keen on long distance running. So, for instance, I think I've run like more than 30 marathons and training for 100K ultra right now. I'm an avid traveler, been to close to 110 countries and so on. So actually experiencing new things and taking on new challenges privately as well. That keeps me motivated.
Yeah, you really are living life to the fullest, it seems. But I know that always comes with challenges, but not ones that you're afraid of. What would you say is the most difficult of the marathons that you ran so far?
Oh, wow. I ran a marathon in Mongolia last year, 42K. That's the one where I aim for 100K right now. So, but that was, given the altitude, it's one of the most tricky ones. I ran in the desert in Jordania, given the heat. That's maybe the most tricky ones, I would say, so far. Let's see how it continues.
Well, your dedicating to running marathons really embodies your strong work ethic and your consistency and discipline. Would you say that it directly benefits your performance in work and in terms of your leadership skills?
Yeah, I see some elements from that. Keeping an eye on long-term goals and not giving up. Side note, this might also have to do with my cultural background. Finnish and the Finnish concept of sisu, meaning strong will and determination, is something that really characterizes us. And I even named my dog after that concept.
So, Tanja, what are you most excited about then coming into 2025?
Looking at work, there's a lot happening in my solution area right now at Netgain. So I'm really looking forward to growing the Netgain team, working with CSM, working with new customer projects and so on, and seeing more and more things you can do with the platform. And then personally, well, running the 100K, continuing traveling to new countries and so on. So that's, I would say, are the main things for 2025.
Yeah, I'm very interested to keep up with your LinkedIn processes and your updates you're going to be sharing along the way for all your successes. And when is your date for your marathon?
It's in mid-August.
Mid-August,
So
okay.
a few months to train still, fortunately.
Still time. Well, Tanja, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been great to have you participate in the Women in ServiceNow series.
Thank you very much. This has been so fun.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.